I could just feel the tension in the crowd. Do you notice that on the field?
I do, yeah, because I was only in the crowd last year, and I've been a Leeds fan my whole life, so I know what the crowd are feeling when I'm on the pitch.
This is the official Leeds United podcast.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is the one I've been looking forward to and been pushing for some time, and I'm absolutely thrilled to welcome to the official Leeds United podcast, Mr. Archie Gray. How are you?
I'm alright, thank you. Are you?
Yeah, we're doing well, I think, Dom.
Yes, great to see you, and it's great to have you on, Archie. I've been watching your career very closely, and I've been watching your development. It's been amazing. You're doing so well, mate. Keep grounded, keep doing what you're doing. You've been a brilliant. You've been inspiring a lot of young kids as well at your age as well, to keep going and go for your goals in football. So yeah, well done, mate.
Well, I mean,
Thank you.
I'm nearly 35 and I enjoy watching you play, mate. You've inspired me as well.
All Leeds, aren't we? The official Leeds United podcast.
Obviously, you're 17, and I don't the body obviously is quite resilient at that age, but at the same time you're still growing. You had that long-term injury last season. Is it something that plays on your mind that you don't want to, now that you're in the team, you don't want to be out for an extended period again?
Yeah, obviously sometimes you think about it, but you can't really think like that. I think, because if you're constantly thinking about being injured during a game, you're not gonna go into tackles and stuff like you normally would. So yeah, not really, to be fair. Not really. Is it
is that a death knell for players, Dom? Do you think, like, when you get to the point when you're worried about getting injured, you might as well pack it in?
Yeah, basically, yeah. I think when I was at Leeds United, we were all on the same page, we were all on the same mindset. We all wanted to win every week, even in training. You have to have that tempo in training. You have to train the way you're going to play sometimes. I know it can be slightly different, but in a way, we trained hard. I'd be up against, I don't know, Alan Smith and Big Viduka, and it's going to be hard even in training, but that's how you improve. And I'm sure it'll be the same as well at Leeds United now when they do the training. You have to, because I think when you're coming into a team, you have to make sure you don't get ahead of yourself at times, especially as a younger player. I remember at Liverpool coming through, you think sometimes you've got to decide where you're going to play, because I played all over at Liverpool just to get in the team. And I can probably see similarities with yourself, Archie, because obviously we've all got a favourite position. But you've done so well at playing full back. How are you enjoying playing in a different position?
To be fair, I'm actually really enjoying it. It's something different. I've had one game experienced it, and I was only like a year ago for England, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, it's just been fun, to be fair, and we've got the right people behind me, and in the back line and off the pitch and stuff like that. So
what's really impressed me about yourself is your positional sense, and when you get on the ball as well, with your passing range as well, because you've played in midfield, you can sometimes go long or go in short. Because you've played in the midfield, it's kind of giving you a couple more options for your distribution, and obviously chipping in as well, trying to create chances and also try and get on the end of a few as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's you see the game a bit differently when you're playing out there. You're always facing the game. You don't have to be checking your shoulders all the time like you do in midfield. So in that sense, I'd probably say it's easier, on the ball. Sometimes you have a bit more time, and sometimes you don't. So yeah, it's just a different perspective of the game.
I mean, in terms of your composure, I mean, the step up to the first team doesn't seem to have phased you at all. I mean, when you're on the ball, you look incredibly comfortable. But one thing I want as an actual specific moment was that moment with Norwich last week when, they're through on goal. I thought I'd have put my house on them getting that equaliser, and out jumps Archie Gray from nowhere. And you don't just dispossess him and boot it out for a corner. You're like, right, now I'm going to take it and go up the field with it as well. I mean, how at 17 is that fearlessness of youth, or are you just that comfortable on the ball?
Well, to be fair, when he started running at me, when they started running from the counter attack, I was like, right, okay. I always knew the ball was going to go there because I saw him running behind me. I know he's quick, so I was kind of trying to get over to that side a little bit. And then when he was running at me, I was just thinking in my head, I was like, what would I do? I was like, in my head, I thought I'd put it onto my left, try to chop back on my right, and that's exactly what he did, because I knew he was right-footed. So I was like, all right, okay, that's what I would.
So it's almost like you're anticipating the next move.
Yeah.
Because that's what you've got to do is obviously when you're playing as a fullback, you've got to anticipate that bit of pace around the back that someone's going to stick it in there, and you've got to be almost you're on your way to try and defend. But then when it comes to you, you've also got to get hold of it and make the right pass. Which that's the thing that's really impressed me about you, is that more than anything. Your positional sense has been bang on. I don't know who's been coaching. I don't know too many of the coaches at Leeds, obviously the manager, but your positional sense for a young lad is incredible. And I was really lucky when in my career at Liverpool. We had a left back called Ronnie Moran. He's not here anymore. Brilliant player and manager. He literally put me in the right positions, positionally wise, when I was a fullback as a left back, and it stuck with me right the way out through my career and playing in different positions as well. So I think you've certainly got that. And I think you're going to get better at that as well. So keep working on that, because I tell you what, it's a key thing to have as a footballer, positional sense. It's so important. Do you look at stuff like that?
The coaching staff are really good at me. After games and stuff like that, they'll be showing me clips on just like tiny little things, like a few yards, and it sticks with you. So in the games, it does help you, and you do realise it when you're playing. So yeah.
You're lucky, because we never had TV stuff to look at, you know what I mean? It was just, you get told what you do and you crack on.
Listening on together.
There's a lot of talk in football about what's it better to have, really hyper specialised players that are just the very best at one position, or do we want players that are a bit more versatile and can move around and whatnot? And I read an interview with you actually saying that you think in the modern game actually being able to play in different positions is just a necessity for players. Obviously you have that skill, but is there a preference? Is there somewhere that you would rather be on the field?
Like Dom said, to be honest, like at the age I'm at now, like, if I looked at the team sheet and I was playing at literally anywhere, I'd be fine with it, because it's you just get on with it and just enjoy the game, and it's just another opportunity.
But in a dream world.
To be fair, I'm enjoying right back right now, but I also enjoy centre mid, so probably those two. Who's
your favourite player? Growing up as a player, who's the one you looked at and thought, I want to be like him? Because we've all got one of them.
Yeah. Well,
who's yours?
I'll give you one realistic one, and one that I just always used to watch and think. So my one that I always used to look at and think, oh my gosh, like how is obviously Messi, like, but with my build, and he's just special. Do you know what I mean? He's totally different to everyone else that's ever been. But I'd probably say a player that I've always watched when I was younger and watched clips of him. I didn't really get to watch him, but Gerrard and Zidane. I really liked watching Zidane when I was younger because of just how easy he made things look. If you watch clips of him, he literally just looked like he wasn't thinking about it. He just make players look like they weren't there.
Don't look at the clips when he played against me. He absolutely rinsed me a few times. I was trying to whack him, I couldn't get near him. I was just chasing shadows. But you're right. Do you know what they have as well is that mindset, which you have to get to the top level. Is that mindset? Like Gerrard was absolutely batty in training. It was all about when he was pinging balls into people. If you couldn't get hold of it, you weren't good enough to get in the team. It's like having that energy and also that extra bit of passion to get you to the top level. And I think the ones, obviously playing against both of them and playing with Gerrard, I can understand why you'd say them two. They are the exact two players that I'd pull out. And obviously Messi's just a different level, so he's a difficult one to say because he was so good. I remember watching him. You can't stop watching him. You can't watch anyone else. Just watch him. But I think the two you said they're the two that I always talk about personally as well, because of the way they played and the levels they played at, constantly at the same level. And that consistency, you'll know yourself, even though you're young, consistency is key.
Don mentioned the mental side of it there. How are you keeping your feet on the ground? How are you coping with that? Obviously, you mentioned a minute ago you weren't even in the changing room yet. So it's not really like on match day. You before the game, you don't even have all the rest of the lads around you to sort of stay grounded. Like how do you mentally cope with it at the minute? It's just 17.
To be honest with you, because my family's done better things than I've done now. Do you know what I mean? Like I've got so much to do before I, can get on my dad's level, get on my granddad's level. My granddad won a Champions League, a European Cup as it was back then. Like
yeah.
you just look at that and you think, I've got so much to do before you get to.
I tell you what, I've had a few nights out with Andy, your dad.
Yeah,
just a couple back in the day. I won't talk too much on here about it. I'll keep that behind. Keep that quiet. He was lively. I tell you, he was lively. No, he was great. How's he doing? All right.
Yeah, he's doing well. He's just running every day.
Training
literally every morning.
Always loved his training. Yeah, loved his training. Yeah, remember that. I'm trying to think if he came. I think I was in Ibiza with him, but I'll leave it there. I think we went in Ibiza at some point when he was. We'll leave it on that one, but I'm glad he's doing well. And he's training. He's still training hard. Is he fitter than you?
In a longer distance, probably. Yeah.
Really? Right.
Wow.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
You must be very excited to turn 18 though, and be able to really. Do you feel like you've kind of got one foot in the camaraderie and amongst the lads, but you've also kind of half out of it? Like eventually, you 18, you're gonna be able to fully dive in and be one of the team. Yeah,
definitely. I'll be able to be in the change room and just be around them more often. Do you know what I mean? Get to know everyone better and be fully part of the first team, I guess. So
do you know when you're around the senior players, are they giving you advice? Are they talking to you about stuff?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to see how the dynamics work with that at Leeds United, because obviously sometimes you're in a different dressing room. When you come in, is it just some players coming to chat to you, or are you just on your own? Because some people like their own space to do stuff, or is there people talking to you?
Yeah, well, to be fair, I'll always be asking people questions of like when they were my age and stuff like that, and funny stories, I guess, which you just like to hear about. And to be fair, we're never really in the changing room. We've always got something to do. We've always got somewhere to be. If it's like gym, if we've got a meeting. So yeah, I'm always speaking to them. So yeah.
It's bizarre, isn't it? Because I never did the gym ever. You can obviously tell. I never did the gym ever. Honestly, I used to say, we're going to do weights. I was like, nah, I'm not doing weights. And that's not me being cocky, I just didn't like it. Well, I wasn't built for weights, you know what I mean? No, I never did the weights ever. They tried to get us to do it with Liverpool once. We were all like, nah, we're not doing it. We went for a bacon sandwich somewhere else.
Wow.
But yeah, no, I think it's funny when you hear now like how professional it all is.
Yeah.
I've kind of wish I'd done a bit of both in a way. Kind of in like my era, it's like it was just a bit bizarre at times. But now the way you guys look after yourself, all super fit, it's just incredible. How hard is it to maintain that? It's such a young age to maintain that level by just constantly training. What do you do on your? Just for example, what do you do on a day off? Do you watch films, or what do you do? Do you what goes on with you now?
Well, sometimes I do mostly things different. Some days on my day off, I'll if I haven't done much, or I'll ask to do have a run, but I'll mainly do like a gym session, like a core session or an upper body session, and just the rest of the day just chill.
What's core mean?
I mean, do you do the stuff that 17-year-olds do? I mean, do you play PlayStation? I mean, you don't go out drinking, obviously.
Yeah.
Neither did I at 17. But but like, what? I mean, what sort of stuff do you get up to with your mates? Like, completely detached from football.
To be fair, me, Ethan, and Joe play a bit of Warzone, Call of Duty.
Okay.
When we've got a bit of spare time. Yeah, that's about it really. Just chill. Sometimes watch a Netflix series that I try to find one. They're hard to find now.
Okay. But I know you've mentioned before Roden being a bit of an influence playing in the back four. Is there anyone else apart from Joe in the team that's really helped you learn the ropes?
Ethan as well. Ethan's been really helpful with me. To be fair, they all have, Sam Byram as well. I'm really close with Sam as well. He's been really helpful.
I wanted to talk about Sam. Obviously, there's the iconic picture of you being a mascot with Sam back in the day, and Sam looks exactly the same, which is incredible.
He looks younger now than he does then.
He does, doesn't he? It's unreal.
He does, yeah.
What's that like lining up alongside Sam after that? Like,
yeah, it's pretty mental because I still remember the day of when I was mascotting it. It's still pretty mad. You know what I mean?
You've got to bring that hair back, mate.
Yeah. I know.
Mate, if you come out next season in the Premier League with that hair, that's going to be banging.
All Leeds, aren't we? the official Leeds United podcast.
I can just feel the tension in the crowd. Do you notice that on the field?
I do, yeah, because I was only in the crowd last year, and I've been a Leeds fan my whole life, so I know what the crowd are feeling when I'm on the pitch.
Yeah,
I can predict what's going to happen and what they're going to be like.
The fan base is unbelievable, isn't it? It's incredible, isn't it? When you think about the travelling they've had to do, recently, and the game's coming up.
Oh, gosh,
so much travelling for the fans, obviously, having to get there by any way they get there. I mean, the fans they've been incredible this year. Because I've been to quite a few games home and away, and it's just the levels again have just gone up again. The noise levels, and how good are the fans here? More than most. The fans are absolutely incredible, and for this club to go to the next level, we need these behind us. We need the fans behind us all the way, don't we?
Yeah, definitely. They've been as good as they've ever been. Do you know what I mean? They're as good as last year when we were in the top division, and the year before. I'd say, because every game's been packed, every game's been pretty much sold out, and people always say right now we've got the best fan base in the Championship, and I think we do. You go to away games and nothing's like Elland Road, nothing's like Elland Road, and the away fans are just they're just amazing.
It's basically, I think it's every club's biggest game. I really do. That's why they seem up for it. When you look at the game, with some of the games away where we haven't got the quite results, they've come with this. The way they've set up, they've almost like, we'll take a draw.
Oh yeah.
In a way, the way they've been setting teams up, and obviously, I loved that Preston game personally because that's my type of game. That obviously we didn't do well in the first one, but then the second one we went again, and I think again that sets the team up again, doesn't it? By the performance, But because I think the Leeds fans just love a tackle as well. I know you've got to be careful nowadays, but the Leeds fans do love a tackle, don't they?
Yeah. It's one way to get the crowd going really easily. That's what my dad's always said to me.
Listening on together.
If you want to push for promotion, you've got to have, especially in the Championship, there's 23 teams, including yourself. There's every style of play, literally every style of play. You've got teams like Leicester us and Southampton, who are other teams that play with the ball. They like to play with the ball, and they're possession-based teams. And you've got other teams like you said, Preston, who they try to frustrate you. And you've got everything, so you've just got to have a mix of everything in your group. And the players, you've got to have different type of players. So yeah.
Do you find that people like teams like that try and single you out in particular because of your youth and perceived inexperience? They'll try and niggle you a little bit more than other players. Do you find that? Yeah.
Sometimes definitely, because to be fair, they just look at you as a 17-year-old, like he's a 17-year-old, which you've got to prepare for. And to be fair, I do enjoy it. Do you know what I mean? If they're trying to target me, and if they're trying to target other young players, like for example Curry and stuff, he's sometimes in games he's just been getting kicked and stuff like that. He thrive off the challenge, and it's just another challenge which you should just enjoy. And I don't know about you, Dom. I mean, in the Championship especially, I imagine there's some older blokes that don't quite enjoy being put on their by a 17-year-old.
Not really, no. That's when I get sent off again. That's when it happens. It is what it is. It is frustrating when somebody actually, let me see, you talk about certain players that, in my era, Leeds, Liverpool, the clubs, when you're playing against that top level player and they're doing that to you, it hurts. It's got to hurt as well. And sometimes you can, like for example, I remember playing Leeds against, obviously when you play Arsenal, when you're playing against people like Henry who've just got that out-and-out pace, but obviously ability with it and know what they're doing. Sometimes you've got to change your game up just for that one game. I'm sure people are doing that with Grencio and Somerville. It's like sometimes people have to change their game to play against a certain player because they've got that ability to put you on your bottom. And no one wants that. But I think when you're playing against a top-level player, that's what they can do. Yeah,
definitely. Especially with Curry. In training and stuff, I genuinely don't know what he's going to do, because he can do you either side. He's so quick that he could just tap it down the line, and he will get past you because he's just so quick, and he's so nimble and agile. But he can also just come inside and put it top corner. Like, it's just players
I mean,
like that. And
as someone learning the fullback position, having wingers like that to train against must be invaluable there.
Yeah, definitely. I'd probably say he's probably up there with one of the best wingers in the league. So there's, when you're playing against, lining up against the other team, and you're thinking, well, I've been against people like that, people like Willie, people like Jaden. Yeah. You just think like you're well prepared for it because you've come against these guys in training every day of the week, and they do help you as well. If they do get past you, like there's obviously loads of times in training where sometimes I'll get the better, but he'll get the better as well. It's just what happens in training. They'll help you as well. They'll help you if I've done something wrong and he's noticed it. He'll always tell me. He'll always say like, look, you can do this a bit better to make it harder for me, or you can do that. It does help you a lot.
It's interesting you've said that, because from when I played at Leeds with, obviously I was playing centre half. Well, I played all over, but mainly I wanted to play centre half. So I'd always go up against Harry Kewell, for example. I'd always up against Big Viduka. I'd always go against Alan Smith, because I knew that was going to be hard work. And that's how I improved as a defender, in a way, by just putting myself up against him. I'd be saying to David O'Leary, put me up against him. I don't mind if he skins me once or twice, you won't do it again. So it's like learning from them little bits of mistakes you make, and then that's how you improve. So I think what you've just said there makes a lot of sense from my era as well, and that's a long time ago. But yeah, I think nothing's really changed in a way. Just you lot are a little bit more fitter.
Archie, I'm acutely aware you've got to get back to training, and I don't want to make you late. I've got so many more questions, but I know that Farke's the call of Farke is probably more important than our questions. That said, I do just want to ask quickly one last question about the new contract. Obviously, as fans, we're all absolutely thrilled, and I have no doubt that there was lots and lots of clubs that were sniffing around. Mate, I mean, how happy are you to have signed this deal with Leeds?
Yeah, well, I'm a Leeds fan, so there's nowhere else I want to be. Do you know what I mean? Like, I wasn't thinking about anywhere else. It's I just want to play here and enjoy my time here and try and help get back to where we belong.
Win the Champions League. Yes, that was the goal.
Yeah, that might take a long time, but
next year.
You never know.
We got plenty of time. We got all the time in the world. You're 17. Don't worry about it.
This is the official Leeds United podcast.